Hi, I'm Dr. Joanna Batio. I'm a psychiatry resident. I basically make mental health videos to make us learn about the different mental health disorders or the different areas where there is poor mental health to enable us seek proper medication, seek help, seek guidance. And today I want to talk about eating disorders. Now, feeding and eating disorders are basically a group of mental health disorders that are characterized by a persistent disturbance of eating or eating related behavior. And I actually personally think the prevalence of eating disorders is quite high in our community, but people don't even know they have an eating disorder. People don't even know they can seek help because of their way of eating. So let's dive into this. But before I go forward, I'm going to ask 5 questions. The answer to each of these 5 questions should be either a yes or a no. If you have 2 yeses or more, there is a high chance that you have an eating disorder. Question number 1. Do you make yourself sick because you feel uncomfortably full? What do I mean by do you make yourself sick? Do you make yourself vomit because you're too full? Or do you make yourself get diarrhea because you're too full? Do you take drugs that will make you diarrhea or any herbal remedies that will make you diarrhea? Question number 2. Do you worry that you have lost control over how much you eat? You just find yourself eating large quantities of food. Question number 3. Have you recently lost more than 6 kilograms in a 3 months period? Question number 4. Do you believe yourself to be fat even when people say you're not fat, when people say you're probably thin? Question number 5. Would you say food is dominating your life? Like basically when you look at your life, what do you think about most? Is it food or basically behaviors related to food? How to avoid food? How to, eat a certain way and not eat a certain way? So does food predominate your life? If you have 2 yeses out of these 5 questions, then there's a high chance you probably have an eating disorder. So let's start with the eating disorders. And there are quite a number of eating disorders, but I want to dwell on mainly 3. That is, one is called Bulimia Nervosa, another one is called anorexia nervosa, and another one is called binge eating disorder. And today I want to talk about Bulimia Nervosa. What is bulimia nervosa? Have you heard people saying someone is bulimic? In summary, bulimia nervosa is characterized by episodes of binge eating combined with inappropriate weights to stop gaining weight. Someone with bulimia nervosa will have recurrent episodes of binge eating. And in this episode of binge eating, someone eats an amount of food that is definitely larger than what most individuals would eat in a discrete period of time. Someone feels a sense of lack of control over their eating during this episode. They can't stop eating. They can't control how much they're eating. So they eat and just can't help it. They get full and just keep eating. So after this episode of binge eating, you reach a period where you feel like overly satisfied. You may actually feel disgusted with yourself. You feel disappointed with yourself. You feel guilty. So after this episode, you get inappropriate compensatory behaviors in order to prevent weight gain. These behaviors are called purging behaviors. So you purge, and there are different ways people purge to get rid of this food in order to avoid weight gain. One is self-induced vomiting. Other people will use laxatives. Laxatives are drugs that will help you just diarrhea. Maybe drugs from a pharmacy or herbal medication to make them lose the weight. Other people will go through a period of intense fasting. So today you eat too much food, and for the next 3 days you fast in order not to gain weight. Other people will go intensive, excessive exercise to lose these calories that they think they've put on. This binge eating, the compensatory behaviors, both occur on average at least once a week. and they go on for a period of 3 months or more. So for it to be bulimia nervosa, this behavior has gone on for a period of 3 months plus. These kind of people have poor self-evaluation of their body shape and weight. They feel, big, or they can't gain these extra amounts of weight. So usually people with bulimia nervosa are not very small people. They want to maintain a certain kind of weight. This is actually a mental illness. You can't control how much you eat, and then when you can't control how much you eat, you engage in inappropriate compensatory behaviors, to cover up for the amount of food you've eaten. You're probably thinking, so what? It's just eating and purging to maintain the weight. How does this affect me? Well, I'm going to tell you the different ways this is very dangerous for your body. One thing you should know, if you want to lose some weight around your belly and you decide to do it using these eating behaviors, you're not going to lose weight around this belly. You're going to lose weight everywhere. And you're going to lose weight in your brain. You're going to lose the fat content in your brain. One thing you should know is our brains are covered in fat. Our brains are made of so many nerve cells, but these nerve cells have layers of fat that we call myelin sheath. So you can ignore the word myelin sheath and just know our brains are covered in fat. And this fat is to enable proper functioning of the brain. So if you keep losing this fat, in your brain, you're making different areas of your brain function inappropriately. And this is evidenced by certain things we see in people with eating disorders. People with bulimia nervosa usually have a poor memory compared to normal people. Their concentration is not good. People with bulimia nervosa are usually impulsive. They make very impulsive decisions because their brain can't process things, to make. Ideally, the brain is supposed to make you, think through things and make a proper decision. But because you're limiting the functionality of your brain, you can't think through situations properly, so you make very impulsive decisions. Now, there is what we call central coherence. Central coherence is the ability to derive overall meaning from a mass detail. So, for example, if I give you a proverb and I tell you 1 by 1 makes a bundle, and I ask you what does it mean? If someone is bulimic, they will focus on the detail. They know 1 by 1 makes a bundle. So they will tell you, if I get one thing and I get another and I put them together, I can make, a bundle. But so they're looking at the details in what you've told them. They can't make out a mass picture of the details. They won't tell you 1 by 1 makes a bundle means if maybe people come together 1 by 1, they'll form something united. They can't make up the whole overall picture of what you've just told them. They will tell you the details. People with bulimia nervosa have weak central coherence. They will focus on the details, but they can't make up the big picture out of the details, which is not appropriate. At the end of the day, we need the details of everything to understand what is it all about. What do we get out of this in the end? Then there is what we call set shifting. Set shifting is the ability to think flexibly. Life is quite life. Situations change, moments change, and you need to think through the moments. You need to be flexible. You need to know, if things happen like this, I didn't plan for it that way, and then you're flexible. Maneuver it a certain way. But people with bulimia nervosa, because they've affected their functionality of their brain, they can't think flexibly through situations. They're usually very rigid about situations. So this affects your functionality. And I'm basically talking about the brain in this video, but there's so many other ways this can affect your body in general. This can affect your whole health in general, not just your mental health. Your memory is altered, your concentration is altered, your cognition is altered. So imagine at an early age, your memory is altered. What is going to happen in the long run? Please seek help. See a psychiatrist and you'll be helped. You'll be referred to a psychologist if you need one, but seek help and you can be helped. It is not easy just get over bulimia nervosa. It's not easy to just wake up one morning and say, okay, now I'm not going to be bulimic anymore. No, it's not that easy. Generally, eating disorders are a coping mechanism that you've learned over time, but you can be helped. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please ask, comment. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share. Help a friend watch this video, someone you think has bulimia. Let them know it is a mental disorder and they need to seek help and they can be helped. Next time I'm going to talk about anorexia nervosa. Bye.